Hello, Hunter Mains. I have one of the best void builds you've ever seen inside of my script and in this video. Even if you aren't a Hunter main and mostly play Warlock or Titan, you will find this build incredibly easy to use and equally as effective. We will be using all of the void effects to their absolute limits, from infinite Devour and Invisibility all the way to weaken and volatile. We will be creating a lot more orbs of power than we will ever need, and all of our aspects, fragments, and armor mods will help us get there, and more. Now that I've grabbed your attention, let's look at the pieces of this build that will create the ultimate void monstrosity. Before we get into the specifics, let's go over our exotic armor piece of choice, gyfalcons hauberk. This is a very popular Void Hunter build as it provides easy accessibility to Invisibility and True Sight. Its exotic armor perk, See Me, Feel Me, states that our Void weapons gain volatile rounds after exiting Invisibility. For gyfalcons to give us volatile rounds, we will need a Void weapon. There are 3 different weapons that I would recommend for this. Number 1, Commemoration. This machine gun drops from the Deepstone Crypt raid and can roll with Repulsor Brace. This trait grants us an overshield when we defeat a void debuff target, and luckily enough, volatile rounds counts as one. So when we exit invisibility and gain volatile rounds, getting a kill with commemoration will immediately give you a void overshield, which will give you extra health. The second and third weapon I would recommend are Lemon Arc and Graviton Lance. For endgame content, I would use Lemon Arc, and for regular Nightfalls and easier, I would use Graviton Lance. This is because Lemon Arc is anti-overload, meaning it can be helpful in some things like Nightfalls or Grandmasters. Graviton Lance is very good for ad clear and is better in easier content. For our first aspect, we will absolutely need Stylish Executioner. This aspect will grant invisibility and true sight when we defeat a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target. This fully completes the loop with gyfalcons. When we exit invisibility, we will gain volatile rounds. Then, getting a kill with our void weapon will proc Stylish Executioner, which will immediately give us invisibility again, restarting the cycle. For our second aspect, we will take Vanishing Step, which will start the invisibility loop, marking the start of the process. For our grenade, you can choose between Vortex Grenade and Scatter Grenade. We will also take Gambler's Dodge, which will give us our melee if used near an enemy. For our super, we will take Shadow Shot Deadfall, as it is great for crowd control and damage. For our first fragment, we will take Echo of Undermining, which makes our grenade weaken targets. Echo of Harvest will drop an Orb of Power and a Void Breach when we defeat a weakened target. This works perfectly with Echo of Starvation, which will grant us Devour when we pick up an Orb of Power or a Void Breach. This fragment will satiate all of our Devour needs. For our final fragment, we will take Echo of Persistence, which will increase the duration of Devour, Overshield, and Invisibility effects applied to us, which we will have all 3 of. With our ability screen out of the way, let's move on to the armor mods. On our helmet, we will be rolling with Special or Heavy Ammo Finder, depending on your preferred DPS weapon. We will also put on Ashes to Assets to grant us super energy when we get a kill with our grenade. Harmonic Siphon can also drop an Orb of Power when we get Void Weapon Final Blows. For our gauntlets, we will take Firepower to make our grenade kills drop Orbs of Power. Along with that, we will also take 2 Bolstering Detonations to grant us class ability energy when we deal damage with our grenade, which we will need to proc Vanishing Step. On our chest, you can choose what resist mods you want for the activity you are running. On the leg armor, we will have Elemental Charge to give us armor charge when we pick up a Void Breach, along with Innervation and Recuperation to heal us and give our grenade back when we pick up an Orb of Power. Finally, on the cloak, we will be using Reaper to drop an Orb of Power after using our class ability. We will also use Powerful Attraction to collect nearby Orbs of Power when we dodge, and Bomber to give us grenades while dodging. As I promised before, the gameplay loop is very easy. There are 3 things you can do to start using this build properly. Number 1 is to throw your grenade, and with Echo of Undermining, that will weaken the target. Killing that target will proc Stylish Executioner and start the invisibility chain going. Otherwise, you could also just throw your Smoke Bomb to do less damage but also weaken targets, and will also lead to the same result. Finally, you could also use Vanishing Step to immediately dodge and grant you Invisibility, which will grant you volatile rounds after exiting it. As you can see, there are many ways to start this build, and it's very easy to use. After you exit Invisibility, gyfalcons hauberk will come in and give us volatile rounds, and volatile rounds will give us Invisibility and True Sight when we get a kill with it, since Stylus Executioner does exactly that when we defeat volatile targets. And of course, when we exit Invisibility again, gyfalcons hauberk will proc once again, and the chain will resume. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.